One of the best ways to get a real, true, honest opinion out of someone is to ask them about something they have completely emptied. After I finish up a skincare product, a beauty product, I kind of chuck it into a shoebox, just hoping for a day in the future where I might do an empties video. I guess today is the day. If you guys aren't already subscribed to my channel, my name is Jen, and I love doing beauty, fashion, skincare, lifestyle content. I'm also a mom. So if you like any of those things, feel free to follow, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and I will leave links to all of my things down in the info box, including all of the products that I'm going to share in this video as well. So let's go ahead and hop right in. Can I just caveat this by saying I'm not going to show close-ups of any of these products. They are well used, well loved, covered in dust, having product oozing everywhere. Evidence of dust. I'm allergic to dust. It's probably no surprise that one of my most used products that I always will repurchase, such a deep holy grail, and that is the Elta MD sunscreen. I am a sunscreen devotee. I use it every single day, even on days that are rainy and cloudy. My husband, sometimes he's just like, the sun is not out today. Do you really need to wear sunscreen? And I'm like, don't even bring this up to me. You are blasphemy. You're excommunicated. I like the UV Clear Broad Spectrum SPF 46. I've also tried the tinted version, but I actually think I just like the standard white one better. It doesn't really leave like a huge white cast, but what I really love is it's a mixture of mineral and chemical sunscreens. So it doesn't have so many minerals where I look like a ghost, but it does have both that work together really well. I've tried a lot of different sunscreens, and I find that a lot of sunscreens cause my pores to kind of get clogged. I'll find more of the, blackheads stuck in my pores. Some even cause me to break out. Like, I just feel like I don't do well with a lot of those really silicone-based, clear kind of sunscreens. They just don't work well for me, and I just don't like that kind of slippy finish to them. My makeup never lays right on top of them. But this one also has niacinamide in it, and it says it's specifically good for acne-prone skin. So those ingredients combined, my skin really loves, and I feel like the niacinamide helps lighten some of my pigmentation problems. My age spots, my post-acne hyperpigmentation actually does lighten over time when I use this really consistently. So ever since I discovered that, I have not converted to another sunscreen. The best sunscreen for you is the one that you will consistently use. For me, that is this. Man, even just looking at these bottles being empty, I'm a little sad because these SkinCeuticals vitamin C's are so expensive. But there's something about how they encapsulate and formulate the vitamin C where it really does seem to be like very effective. It's kind of a dilemma because I use very few ingredients in my skincare routine. If you want a sneak peek of the specific ingredients I use, I can link a video that I posted pretty recently about my very simple skincare routine. It's very retinol based. If you want to know a video all about retinols, I also just recently posted a video about that, but I'll link that in the info box. You can check that out after you finish this video. This is one of the ingredients that I use every single day, which is vitamin C. I use it in my morning routine. I only use about 2 drops per day, so I really try to extend my bottles for as long as possible. I'm a big believer that with skincare actives, it's not necessarily the quantity of the active that you use that's going to be the most effective. It is using it consistently over a long period of time. So instead of using like 4, 5, 6 drops or like squeezing it all over my face, I literally just do 2 drops in my palm and then spread it out across my whole face. That's been working well for me also because I'm still Asian. I'm my mother's daughter. I like being a little thrifty, but I also like nice things. So as opposed to wearing like very expensive shoes, if I use my skincare and I just use it wisely and use my money wisely, I feel like it is still definitely worth it to buy the more expensive product and just use less per use as long as I'm still using it for a long time. It's been working well for me. I don't feel like I haven't gotten results from it. I actually have 2 different kinds in my hand. This one is the gold standard that you might have heard everybody talking about. It's the CE ferulic, so it has the vitamin C and then it also has vitamin E and ferulic acid. Gosh, off the top of my head, I think the ferulic acid helps a little bit with sun protection. And then this is actually one that I don't really hear anybody talking about. This one is the C plus AHA. So it also has alpha hydroxy acids included, which does a little extra exfoliation. On days where I feel like I can feel my skin surface having a little bit more texture, a little bit more roughness, instead of using a secondary exfoliator, I'll just use this vitamin C serum in my morning step. Lazy girl skincare is my favorite. I like being pretty minimal, and any steps that I can possibly eliminate, I will do. This combination of the C plus exfoliating acids inside make my skin feel so soft and so smooth. It really has an instant gratification effect. Okay, so this is another one of my skincare MVPs. I feel so bad because I feel like I'm cheating on my skincare routine of like 5-6 years ago. You guys remember like the SK2 toner? Not to say it's not an amazing, excellent product, but once again, it is very pricey. The most important part of that watery lotion step for me is just to add that extra bit of hydration from after I wash my face to before I put on my actives and moisturizer. It's just like that extra layer of hydration that lets things absorb better. I think that my new favorite is much more affordable and does a really great job of balancing my skin when I need it, and that is the Laneige Cream Skin. As you can see, so empty. So that transition between fall and winter where the air just gets a little extra dry and you wake up in the morning and your skin just feels a little taut. If I add this into my nighttime routine, it actually kind of fixes that problem. I used to always break out in between moving from one season to the next because my balance of moisture would just get off, or just on days where like I know I'm gonna get on an airplane and I need extra hydration, I'll really do a couple layers of this and then a really thick moisturizer. Oddly enough, even if the moisturizers I use just for those occasions have a little bit of oil, it actually prevents me from breaking out to have those extra layers of moisture. So I love this so much. I personally have not found myself to have any ill effects or breakouts to this. I feel like it's really good if you do have sensitive skin. If you have very oily skin, another cool thing is that you can actually use this as a standalone moisturizer. At night, I use this most nights and I just feel like it's done a really good job of balancing my hydration. So I'm hiding this container because I don't want to show you any of the face wash residue. This comes out as kind of this green jelly kind of texture. This is a really amazing cleanser. It's the Matcha Hemp Hydrating Cleanser from Crave Beauty. I love it. It's very, very gentle, and I really like that it doesn't overly strip my skin. I do tend to try to avoid cleansers that make me feel squeaky clean, because if it strips that entire lipid oil layer on the top of your skin, it's gonna dry your skin out. I kind of mentioned before, it causes me breakouts, so I just want a cleanser that's a little bit more hydrating. I absolutely love this brand. I love everything that they come out with and everything they stand for. They're really big champions on slow skin care, not just trying everything under the sun and not just coming out with every product under the sun. Highly recommend their oil cleanser as well. It's like a jelly oil cleanser. I've talked about that one in so many of my videos. The only reason it's not in this video is because I'm still using up my bottle. It's not empty yet. Those two in combination, this and the oil cleanser, mwah, chef's kisses. So this is something that was really popular. I feel like 7-8 years ago, everybody was using these little products to spot their whole face with a little Q-tip. This is a combination of salicylic acid and calamine lotion. This one is from Kate Somerville. It's called Eradicate, but I've also used one from Mario Badescu, and I love this to spot treat my acne. I find that most spot treatments don't do anything for my acne, but this stuff actually works. And for me, it's an oldie but a goodie. It is so effective in a pinch. If I need a spot to really calm down, hold your horses, get that redness down really quickly, this just does the job. Yes, you look a little crazy at night when you have like pink splotches all over your face, but I'm telling you, very few things actually work as well as this. It's very concentrated, it's very localized, and it really reduces the inflammation. This is just like one of my little emergency babies that I always like to keep on hand. People just don't talk about it much anymore, but I still use it all the time. I love I love me some Eradicate. I love the whole series of like Kate Somerville's exfoliators and Eradicate stuff. I have to say, as much as I like fancy body washes, there's something that I love even more about a very simple, pared down, but hydrating, fragrance-free body wash cream that just works well for myself and my husband. We both tend to have like somewhat sensitive skin, and this one is really good. It's from Olay. It's Eczema Prone Skin Soothing Body Wash, which I am somebody that does struggle with eczema every couple of seasons. So I really, really, really love this body wash. If you do have sensitive skin, if your skin does tend to be on the drier side, or if you struggle with allergies or eczema, definitely check this one out. I feel like it is the best body wash of this sort available right now. It's definitely my favorite. I don't feel guilty if I use more on my puff. It is, you know, a big bottle of drugstore body wash. But I do feel very passionately about this. We've gone through several bottles and it is always in our bathroom. This little tube is actually my used up Retin-A. I use Retin-A every single day, all the time. I've used it for several years. I just did a whole video talking about tretinoin and retinols and everything you would ever want to know about retinols. It's like a basic 101 video about retinols and how to use them and what they do. I absolutely cannot have an empties video without showing you how I squeeze all of the Retin-A out of this to an inch of its life. I love it so much. Highly recommend anybody who has skin that they want with less acne and less wrinkles, definitely try getting on a retinol. Unfortunately, this particular one is prescription, so I can't just like recommend a link to get it at the store. But if you do struggle with skin, check out that video. There's other options that you can find over the counter as well. I'll link the video below. I feel like I'm a broken record saying that. Anyway, yeah. Retin-A. Next, let's get into some makeup empties. I feel like for me, makeup takes a lot longer to get to the bottom of unless it's something I use a lot of every single day. So that is exactly what this is right here. It's the Natasha Denona Mini Nude Palette. So the reason I have two and why I'm holding them so awkwardly is because I consider them to be empties. Some of the pans have shattered. I have deemed them very difficult to fix because these shadows are very creamy and soft. It's actually a powder shadow. The quality of these, phenomenal, love them. There's a reason why I keep purchasing them. But the reason I really wanted to mention this specifically as empties is not only because I use them all the time, because I love the products, but there's also a part of me that really kind of hates the packaging. Number one, because they are so shatter prone. I probably could repress this one right here and just really try to fix it with, you know, some alcohol and squishing it back down with a napkin. But it does make me really sad that it's very prone to breaking. And another fault with it, I'll say, is once I started opening this several times, the little hinge mechanism on the plastic, it actually broke. I can't really keep the lid on this, and there isn't really an easier way to fix this. So because I love these palettes so much, I just keep rebuying them. However, I do consider that to be an empty because it makes it really difficult to use the old ones. I might depan these and put them in like a magnetic palette just because I don't want to be wasteful. I love these shadows so much. But at the same time, I do feel like it's a bit of a fault of the product. I have to give you the honest truth about the caveats that come along with it. I haven't technically hit pan just in terms of use, but I do have to keep buying them because they keep breaking. And I'm not that hard on my things. I usually am pretty careful. The next product I wanted to talk about is a mascara that I have talked about for so very long. This is a Japanese mascara from Heroin Make. It's the Volume and Curl Mascara Super Waterproof. I absolutely love this. I feel like the looks are very deceiving. It just looks totally like a normal looking brush, a normal looking mascara, but this is so waterproof. If you you are someone that has really stubborn, straight, downward pointing lashes, once you curl your lashes up really well, even just one coat of this and your lashes will stay in place. It is like a glue. It really, really stays up. I also like how waterproof it is because it doesn't get flaky or smudgy all day. I actually have a video where I reviewed a whole bunch of waterproof mascaras, compared them with a wear test, and this was, for me, the winner. And my favorite way of wearing it more recently, if I do like a super heavy multiple coats of this, it gets to be really difficult to remove at the end of the day. But if I just do one coat to hold my lashes in place and then use a volumizing mascara with one more coat over it that's not waterproof, my lashes, they look so full and beautiful, and then it is also a little bit easier to remove at the end of the day. So that's my little trick. I use this almost like a lash primer sometimes, just to give my lashes their full potential, especially because lately I have been foregoing using false lashes and just trying to maximize my natural lashes like today. This is all just mascara, baby. This mascara, actually. It also isn't too clumpy. It keeps lashes really beautifully fanned out and separated and gives the most lift out of every mascara I've ever tried. I feel like even if I don't wear a lot of mascara, I do tend to like filling in my brows. I don't know, there's just something that is really gratifying for me. I like how clean it looks. I like how it just frames the eyes and frames the face. And so I definitely go through brow products like pretty quickly. I tend to prefer going with a pencil that is, well, first of all, a pencil because it's just so easy to use. You don't use any other brushes. I like one that has a spoolie on one end to be able to blur things out and make it look more natural. The color I go for tends to be a little bit of like an ashy taupe color. I would go for a shade that is 1 to 2 shades lighter than your hair color, because by the time you're drawing it in, it's not going to look like a big caterpillar or Sharpie mark sitting on your face. You want it to blend in between the skin color and the hair color so that it all just looks like a natural shade. I really, really love this NYX pencil. This is the Micro Brow Pencil in the color taupe. Oh my gosh, the color is just one of my favorite shades for my brows out of anything I've ever tried. I love how teeny, teeny, tiny the tip is. It's very precise. It's really a great pencil. The only downside is that because it is so skinny and so tiny, you do kind of go through the product quicker than other brow pencils. But it is really easily accessible. I think this one's from Target. I do like the spoolie on the other side, and the color is really good. Anytime that I just want to like pick up a brow pencil really quickly, this is what I'm gonna go for. But I wish they also had a thicker version that was as easily accessible. I feel like the last time I went to Target, I only saw the skinny pencil and I didn't see a thicker pencil from them. But I think I'm gonna check out the NYX website and to see if they actually carry, you know, like a bigger size, because I love the color. And then on a little bit of a higher end than that, I really have been loving this Makeup Forever Pro Sculpting Brow. This color is in the shade 20, and as you can see right here, it is also kind of that taupey light brown color. It would seem that it's a little bit light for my hairs, but I actually find that sometimes that makes it super easy to fill in my brows really quickly because I don't have to be a super perfectionist about it. Once again, it has the spoolie side on the other side, which I love on every brow pencil I have. I just kind of like that two-step process, filling it in with the pencil and then scooching it around to blend it with the spoolie. But this is also a great one if you like something that is sold at Sephora. Another product that I just go through the most are eyeliners. I actually know I have a couple of eyeliners in the room that are running a little dry, but I'm kind of that like gremlin where I will continue to use an eyeliner until it is literally the driest marker before I will throw it away. I'll just like open up a new one and use the old one to get most of the line and then just crisp up the edges with the newer one because I just don't like wasting, baby. I like using it. And honestly, some of my eyeliners are a little bit better at having a sharp, crisp edge, and some of them are better at staying really waterproof for most most of the day, so I just like to mix and match a little bit. This one is by Clio, it is the Kill Black. I would say this is one of my more longer wearing, more waterproof kind of eyeliners, but it does have a felt tip. I really love using a felt tip in the first month of using it. It just has a little bit of firmness, so you can get a really even line very easily. However, I just find with the felt tips, over a lot of uses, as it starts to dry out, some of the little fibers start to get a little jingly jangly. And so in those scenarios, it's kind of nice to have a brush tip that's very more sharp and stays sharp all the way through. Depending on what your preference is, this is a felt tip liner. I do really love it, especially when you have a fresh one, and it is very waterproof, especially good for my monolid girlies. This is a Korean brand. If you haven't tried them out, definitely recommend it. For concealer, I have a couple different ones that I wanted to talk about. I am a big concealer girl. Like, I even will use concealer instead of a foundation most days. So a lot of times I'll just completely skip foundation and just spot conceal where I need it. And I have to say, these are my two favorites. This is the Rare Beauty concealer in the shade 230N. Absolutely love it. Have repurchased this multiple times. At first, when I tried this out, I didn't really understand how to use it. I tried it in my normal way where I put it on top of foundation, and I felt like I put too much on my skin, like it was just more than I was expecting. But when I tried this on bare skin, I was like, I would love to have this formula in a bigger container and just use this as my foundation. Not necessarily putting it all over my face. I just honestly, I want more per bottle. But I really love this. It's really easy to open and close. I love the packaging. Kind of has a doe foot applicator, and I find that it's really easy to apply to the skin. It looks really natural as you wear it throughout the day. Like, it doesn't look like I'm wearing a heavy, thick foundation. Something about the high coverage of it being a concealer, but it's watery enough that if I do thin layers, it just blends really seamlessly to almost look like I'm not even wearing foundation. I mean, technically it's not a foundation, but you know what I mean? Like, skin makeup kind of has a very like natural satiny finish. Not overly dewy, not overly matte. It just looks like skin. Absolutely love that. And then the other concealer I really love, this is the mini. I did go through a big container as well, but I couldn't find it. I think I already threw it away. This is a mini, which is also so empty. The applicator looks so dry because I scrape out as much as I can with every single product before I say I'm not going to use it anymore. This is the NARS Creamy Concealer. It is such a long time favorite. I love it so much. This actually does have a lot heavier coverage than the Rare Beauty concealer, so I don't necessarily use this in the same way where I do a thin layer and like spread it around. I really use this for spot concealing. So if I have pigmentation on my cheeks, or if I'm having some pretty desperate under eyes after a night of very little sleep, this is kind of my go-to, especially for filming. It looks so good on camera. And this is also my go-to when I am doing something a little bit heavier duty with my makeup and I really want to look glammed out. So the shade that I use is Cafe Au Lait, and I feel like that is a really good match for my skin tone. It's not like overly light for my skin. I can use it both for kind of filling in this darkness here and also spot concealing, and it blends in really, really well. I mean, obviously this is another oldie but goodie, but it's definitely empty. This is my Urban Decay Primer Potion. I always love an eyeshadow primer, even on days where I'm not wearing a ton of eye makeup. Let me know if you also struggle with this, but I find that a lot of Asian eyelids, all of the creasy areas, all of the parts that rub against your lashes and lash line, it's so small. Like, the area is so narrow, it does a lot of rubbing, and all of that rubbing causes increased oils. It makes it extra hard with your mascaras and your eyeliners. You have to really use very waterproof stuff because you'll just get panda eyes no matter what. Using a primer really makes a significant difference on on if it will do that or not. If I skip a primer, 100% sure I will get panda eyes after a couple of hours. I'll just get like that dark halo down here of whatever is on my eyes. So Urban Decay is just one that has always been fantastic. It does have a little bit of a heavier, drier formula, which really grips onto everything really, really well. I just feel like I'm always going to recommend this forever, and I'm going to use it forever. I do like a few other eyeshadow primers. NARS has a really great one. I've also been using the Rare Beauty one recently. It's not like I'm just married to the Urban Decay one, but this is the one that currently happens to be my recent empty. So I just have to say it, like if you're not using an eyeshadow primer, try one out. It might be a game changer for you. And then the last product I wanted to talk about is actually for hair. It's a hairspray that I was turned on to from my mother-in-law. I am really particular about hairspray. I have very textured hair, so usually when I curl my hair, I don't even use any hairspray. However, when I do use a hairspray, I don't want my hair to feel really crunchy. This is Kenra Volume Spray Super Hold Finishing Spray. I just find that it gives me the hold that I need for my hair, but there's still a part of it that feels very much like I could still brush through my hair and not get little white speckles everywhere. It's not going to be like overly dry feeling. I just want my hair to feel like my hair and not be too crunchy. So I feel like this does that. All right, I guess that is about it. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit thumbs up. I love you guys so much, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.